Welcome to a full wrap-up of all the news of the Montgomery County Council for the month of October. I'm Susan Kennedy. We start with a new transportation service launched this month by the county that creates an express bus route along Rockville Pike. Imagine the bus you take to work each day makes 12 stops instead of 80. That's what the county's new Ride On Extra service provides those commuters who get off at one of these major stops along Route 355. We caught the bus with the county's Director of Transportation, Al Roshdi, and Council President Roger Berliner.
It's very nice.
As it made its way north to Rockville.
By definition, you are going to get there so much faster. Your boarding process is going to be faster, and your time on the bus is going to be more efficient. So my goal, and I know Al's goal, and I think the county executive's goal, is to have the finest transit system in the country. So between Metro, the Purple Line, Ride On Extra, Bus Rapid Transit, these are all the things that we are working so hard on to make sure that our people can get to work without driving their car.
The buses run every 10 minutes. They are brand new with free Wi-Fi, charging ports, and information displays. They run from Medical Center to Lake Forest Mall and operate on clean diesel fuel.
The carbon footprint of this bus and a hybrid is almost the same. So they have come up a long way on the diesel engines. By the way, the front of the bus is different. The seats have a different cushion, so it's much more comfortable than typical buses. And so people, this morning I ride down here from Rockville, and I saw 12 people on the bus, so it's quite a few.
Officials say they hope programs like Ride On Extra will alleviate some of the cars on Rockville Pike. On our trip, we saw several riders taking advantage of this service, which is free for the month of October. Matt Grant takes Ride On to work daily. He told Councilmember Berliner how this new bus will make his life much easier.
I mean, the one thing that this bus does that I think is really great and alleviates a little bit of the major frustrations I had with the current system is that for me at least, it seems like they only come like every 20 or 30 minutes. So if I miss one, then that, and because I have a chain of buses to take. Yes. If I miss one, that's a huge time sink, a long time I have to wait before I can continue. And then I'll get to work maybe at least half an hour later than I should. This coming every 10 minutes, again, it gives me another great option in case I miss something. And because it's going like straight down the pike, it's fast too, so it's great.
So that's part of our goal, is to get people out of their cars, make people less dependent on cars, and so better this transit service is, the easier it'll be for you and for our counties.
Yeah.
For more information about the county's new Ride On Extra service, visit the county's Department of Transportation website. Earlier this month, the County Council voted unanimously to approve close to $900,000 to combat gang violence here. And a host of county officials gathered in Rockville to talk about their plans to address this growing problem.
As we are trying in this memorandum,
a host of county officials gathered this week for a joint announcement on how newly approved funds will be used to fight a spike in gang activity here in Montgomery County, including the establishment of a new gang unit.
this centralized unit will target leadership structures in Montgomery County through proactive investigation techniques, including extensive grand jury investigations, monitoring of social media, and the use of wiretaps.
Additional detectives are going to be assigned to the neighborhoods, to the communities where the gang violence is occurring, where gang members typically operate. Our gang problems are actually very specific in specific areas, and that's where we will assign the detectives that we're getting with this additional resources.
Law enforcement officials say between 2000 and 2015, there were approximately 2 gang murders per year. Since 2015, there have been close to 20.
The Montgomery County Council, Roger Berliner.
Council President Roger Berliner says he and his colleagues are committed to doing whatever it takes to eliminate gang violence here.
These criminals commit acts of unspeakable violence. They prey on our youth. They have caused immeasurable pain and suffering for too many of our good people who have come to our community for a chance at a better life.
County leaders say they will continue to work closely with federal agencies on gang-related issues, but want to be proactive in getting ahead of potential gang activity. The announcement also included the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the schools and law enforcement. Much of the new funding will be used in the schools for outreach to teenagers who are being targeted for gangs.
And there's no better place to address this than to address this in the schools. This is where kids feel disconnected. This is where the kids are struggling with their identity and their place in the community. And this is the place for us to have a presence.
County leaders say this collaboration across all agencies will give them the best chance at identifying and prosecuting these gang members who pose an imminent threat to the community. Human trafficking is a problem across our country, and there is a local impact here in Montgomery County as well. In October, a new bill that established a permanent human trafficking commission was signed into law. In 2016, Montgomery County Police investigated 29 cases of human trafficking in Montgomery County. 3 of those cases included minors. This week, County Executive Ike Leggett signed a bill introduced and unanimously approved by the County Council that will work to eliminate this heinous crime.
I remain confident that working together, we can become even more protective of our current and potential victims. And at the same time, we can become even a greater community, and we can fight back the threats to human trafficking.
Tom Hooker serves on the Council's Public Safety Committee. He says this bill will send a message to traffickers that the county is committed to fighting this enterprise.
You know, I'm really glad I work with a council and a county exec that are so united to fight this. And the reason we need a commission is really because this is a fast-growing, dynamic, changing criminal enterprise. I mean, this, slavery's been around a long time, but unfortunately, this with the growth of the internet and with all the transportation up and down the I-95 corridor where Montgomery County is, that makes us a hub for this enterprise. And we need to send a really strong and unified signal to traffickers that we're using all the tools in our toolbox that, to crack down on them, that it's not welcome here in Montgomery County.
It was a unanimous vote on the county council, and we all immediately knew that we need to do something in addition to what we are doing. And we are doing a lot. Our police department is doing a lot. It's not just in Montgomery County, obviously. It's an international situation, but we will do our best to correct it in Montgomery County.
County police are working at all times to detect traffickers and make arrests. Assistant Chief Laura Lanham says this bill will help them continue to do their job.
The committee started in 2014, and what this does is establishes something that has been working and that makes it so that we'll have it for the future, and ensuring that we continue to have many voices and opinions and different looks at a problem. It's great and important for us as the law enforcement community, and certainly the expertise to go into the investigation. But there are a whole bunch of other people, stakeholders in the community who can see things different ways and give different opinions and different insight into the issue so we can combat it and, most importantly, prevent future victimization.
The Montgomery County Department of Transportation recently sponsored a bicycle donation event in Rockville. The charity will provide the gift of mobility to residents of all ages. Dozens of folks rolled into the county council building with their unused, unwanted bicycles with hopes of getting them back on the road with someone who needs them. The donation event was hosted by the county and the Rockville Bike Hub, a nonprofit community bicycle shop.
So some people have brought bikes that are from under their deck, they've been sitting there for years, and other people have brand new bikes, and sometimes they've just never been used, and so maybe they bought them and intended to use them, but they just never did. So then we've gotten brand new bikes, and we've gotten a lot of bikes that need a lot of repair or can only be salvaged for the parts. And that's what part of what Rockville Bike Hub does, is that they'll take apart the bikes and they'll use the parts, or they'll fix the bikes that can be fixed.
What community bike shops do is teach people how to maintain their bikes, how to fix their bikes, provide space and tools and knowledge and advice to help people learn those kinds of things.
Many of the bikes donated are refurbished by the Bike Hub before they go to low-income residents in the county. There were 120 bicycles collected at the event, including 50 adult bikes and 70 children's bikes.
Well, this is my daughter's bike. This was actually her first bike that we took the training wheels off. And so this guy was just sitting down there. I put it together one Christmas morning. That was a Christmas present, so she had to wait months to even try it out. And so it's nice to know that somebody else gets to have a crack at it.
We as a council believe that people should enjoy the great outdoors, and this type of organization, literally recycling of bicycles, allows each of us to enjoy the great outdoors in maybe a different way than we could not necessarily do.
And not only do these donation events promote a healthy lifestyle, they also improve the environment. Instead of going to the dump, many of these two-wheeled vehicles end up being an important mode of transportation for someone less fortunate. And finally, in order to educate the fastest growing population in Montgomery County, Councilmember Sidney Katz held a senior forum designed to showcase the county's senior services. It's good news. We're all living longer. And at Boer Park in Gaithersburg, dozens of seniors stopped by a forum sponsored by Councilmember Sidney Katz to learn about continuing to lead a long, fulfilling life.
And so it's important that they realize that they're not alone. It's important to realize that if you have a problem, that you can call on someone in Montgomery County that will help you straighten out that problem.
The forum included a showcase of the wide array of senior services provided in Montgomery County.
Old scams don't die, they just get reinvented.
Eric Friedman oversees the county's Department of Consumer Protection. He says many of the complaints that come into his office deal with some sort of senior scam.
That's right. Senior scams are big business. You know, it was the front cover issue of Consumer Reports a few years ago, and it continues today. So we really welcome this opportunity to reach out to seniors in Montgomery County, let them know about the services that the Consumer Protection Office has, that the State's Attorney's Office has, and volunteering.
I think everybody in government needs to strategically plan for the demands that are going to invariably come as the size of that population increases. Will there be more financial fraud cases involving seniors? Absolutely. Will there be more neglect and abuse cases, both physical, sexual? Absolutely. Look, you just look at the numbers. 1 in 4 people in this county are going to be over the age of 65. It's the fastest growing demographic in terms of population.
Marilyn Avanti was scammed out of $80,000 several years ago. She says she came to the senior forum looking for advice on how to continue to pursue her case.
Yeah, well, I'm always interested in things that I don't know, so I need to find out what I don't know. I've been working on it for years, and it's a tough thing. Once you give your money to someone, you're stuck. So that's why these things are good, too, to find out what you don't know before you do something like that.
The Sheriff's Office runs the Montgomery County Family Justice Center, and at the center we have a number of Montgomery County police detectives as well as some of the Sheriff's Office staff who are working on elder abuse cases, and they involve scams, they involve people who are really trying to con elderly people out of money. So I've got several deputies that take in some of the complaints having to do with scams, and then they work very closely with the Montgomery County police detectives on certain investigations with these scams.
Bethesda resident Bob Levy made the trip to the forum to educate himself about the latest scams and keeping his personal information safe.
I just learned, how do scammers on the phone figure out that you are an old person? Well, the answer is social media, and if you have a Facebook account, there you are, exposed to the world.
For more information about senior scams and other services available to seniors, you can visit the county senior webpage. For more news and information about the work of the Montgomery County Council, you can visit their website at montgomerycountymd.gov/council. I'm Susan Kennedy for County Cable Montgomery.
My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
I wouldn't use this one.
He helps me with my decision making.
Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.